There he is.
Hi, Bob.
Should I go back to the picture?
No, it was a nice color tone in behind that. That was nice. Is that a professional headshot, work shot?
I actually kind of not. I didn't like. It was for a company I was working with, and someone there was a professional photographer, and they had all the gear, so they'd like take this picture.
Great.
Great. Yeah. Looks good.
Those are the best kind.
Exactly. How's everybody doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody.
New Year.
Everybody staying safe. Did everybody order their 4 home testing kits for that will be delivered in January, the end of January?
I don't go out enough.
Oh, come on. You're always
out. Of course I'm gonna do that. Yes, but I don't go out enough.
Can you promote L Baker? Can you promote you got it. Okay. Hi, how you doing?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Oh, you look great.
Wow. Your hair looks great. Did it grow?
Thanks, guys.
You look great.
Thank you.
What did you have, a boy or a girl?
A girl, and her name is Annie Pearl. Yeah.
Pearl?
Yeah, she's very
What's
sweet.
Her name again?
Annie Pearl.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. She's a good one. So if I dip out, you'll know why. But I'm here for now.
Okay. It's 6:04. I think we should start. Agreed? Okay. Welcome to the January 18th Public Commission meeting. We have 13 items on the agenda tonight. We're going to start with Erin to do the attendance and review the minutes from the last meeting in December. No, it was in November.
It was November 16th. So
thank you.
Elle, Joanne.
Here.
Naomi. No. Brian.
Here.
Rob. Kirsten.
Hi, I'm here.
Good. All right. So Naomi. Minutes from, so this is from November 16th. Meeting started at 6. Here are the minutes. So the Public Arts Commission email was set up and was awaiting only the administrator's emails, which were to be sent following that meeting. The Revere Council had voted that the Pledge of Allegiance be said prior to all town meetings. Joanne was postponing for us to do that until we began meeting in person. We were to update the call to artists to include the budget for each project. Councilor Novoselsky joined, and I'm not sure about that spelling.
You're fine.
Okay, joined the meeting to inform the commission. He spoke about a recent mural that was put up that he wasn't happy or was upset about, specifically because the mural was put up to cover something that was previously there, and there wasn't much input from, he would have liked there to be more input on that. So we spoke about the possibility to create a public art policy that would be publicized to prevent things like that happening in the future. Brian had proposed another option where there would be a banner system that could be rotated, and in which different groups from the city could propose their own designs. The Northern Strand Underpass Subcommittee discussed a possible theme of including designs representing each of the towns the underpass runs through, to be represented on the pillars. We spoke about that ideally the mural painting for that project would be done quicker rather than slower to prevent graffiti covering the unfinished designs that's happened in the past. We also discussed the back wall being a design of a railroad. The lighting for the underpass can change as the artists work. That's something that we spoke about being a positive thing to take advantage of. The Northern Strand Subcommittee would meet at least 2 times again before our next meeting. Brian has the Instagram page ready to go, which is Revere Arts, which will be a presentation page only and not interactive. The December 21st Public Arts Commission meeting was canceled due to holidays. The city of Revere lost a great artist and gentle soul, Paul Ferrari. He will be missed very much, and we discussed representing him and his work on our Instagram page as a tribute. Joanne was to make a mock sticker for the Public Arts Commission logo for the Commission to Revere. And the mayor and the council approved Joanne's requested budget for $3,000 for the fire station cleanup and $1,000 for the Public Arts Commission kitty. And Joanne was going to follow up on that. The meeting concluded at 7:10.
Thank you, Erin. So ordered?
Ordered.
So approved?
Approved.
Okay, the second item on the agenda is new members to the PAC. So it was in discussion that we should have more members, probably maybe 4 more members by April 1st. I know there's a couple of artists out there. There was one artist, I think her name was Olivia. She was in the Revere Journal. I don't know if she won something, but there's a lot of artists out there, and not even artists. If they've got a love for art, we should have. I think we should have a bigger committee. So, what do you think about that, guys? Hi, Naomi.
Hi, sorry for being so late. I couldn't find the link anywhere.
Oh, that's all right. No problem.
Happy
So,
New
what do you
Year.
think about increasing the membership?
Well, you know how I've been about that.
Yes.
Strongly supportive. There's at least 3 or 4 people when you and I saw each other, we talked about there is a good interest. It helps us with subcommittee type stuff, more supportive for ourselves rather than we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this. Other people can take and assist with that, and it'll help with diversity across the board.
Okay. Anybody else?
I agree. I think to have new members because I feel like Revere is a really diverse community and there's a lot of artists of like a bunch of different like cultures and colors and stuff, and they have a lot to offer to the table too, which is something that would really like help our like art commission really reflect like the people in the city too, which I think would be cool. And it's always good to have artists like all different backgrounds working together.
Great. Naomi, can you put up your volume, please, a little bit?
I don't know how to do that. I can like.
Are you on a computer?
Yeah, I'm on a computer.
Yeah, you can do it on the keyboard. If you can't, that's fine. No problems. You'll just have to yell. Okay?
Do you want me to say it again, or did you?
No, we heard you, but I want the public to hear you. So,
Okay.
Anybody else have any thing they want to say? No?
I think that, generally speaking, in theory, of course, it's great to have as many people representing, all of the backgrounds and all of the experience, and the city has so many people that can really contribute. I think at our stage, just because we haven't really gotten anything off the ground yet, I mean, honestly, we haven't done much. So and I think the more people that are involved in the initial discussions, it just makes things take longer. And, so I think logistically and practically, if we expand more, we can find other ways to be more productive. We will need to, because I think by expanding it can, slow things down even maybe a little bit more. I don't know.
Okay, so do you want to take a vote on this tonight, or do you want to just hold it off until April when we can revisit this?
I think we should vote, because if we're going to do it, it's going to take us that long, so that in April it does begin the process.
Okay, so let, Aaron, you want to call the attendance, and we'll either say nay or no, nay or yay, so yes or no. So you're on mute, Aaron?
Okay, sure. So this is, if it's yay, you're in favor to have.
Yes or no? It's just yes or no. It doesn't have to be like
Okay.
yay or nay.
Nayeth or nayeth?
I feel like we're in 200 years before time. So go ahead, just yes or no.
Okay.
So if you want to just read the request, which is, do we increase the membership by April 1st with adding 3 or 4 members, or we wait until April and we revisit it? So I just read it. So
Okay.
go ahead, read the attendance.
Sure. Al?
I'm not a voting member. I'm in a supporting role, so I'm going to abstain.
Joanne?
Yes.
Naomi?
Yes.
I'm gonna vote no. Brian?
Yes.
Rob?
I'm going to vote no.
Kristen?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So yes, it is. So we'll add, why don't we add 3 members to the committee, and we'll publicize it on the website by April 1st.
I just want to also, I just do want to make a note that we still have 1 member without making any changes. There's still 1 unfilled position for the membership.
Okay, so that would make it two more members, which, I mean, that's not a lot. That would probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We're looking for 3 members.
Well, we have 1 member.
So we have
Yeah,
7.
look at
We
the 3
officially have 7, so you want to increase it to 9.
Person? Who's the 7th person?
It's an unfilled role right now.
So that, we're looking to fill that, and 2 more that'll make 9. So we're looking at 3.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
So, can we, Al, can we write something up, and put it on the website? Do we have to have, like qualifications, you want
Sure.
to talk about that? Do we, have qualifications or not no qualifications, just an interest in art?
I think we should revisit the existing ordinance, and
Okay.
we'll have to make a change to the existing ordinance to increase the membership to 9.
Okay. That sounds good to me. Okay. Al, you and I can do that
Okay.
if you want to. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. So one of the things I talked about is we only have like $1,000 in the kitty and $3,000 to clean up the firehouse. So there's I think I put in for 5,000, and the other 1,000 is going to go towards shed that we haven't paid for yet for our community garden. So I put in about $5,000 or $6,000. I don't remember what the price was, but we have about $4,000 for the PAC committee. One of the things that I would like to do is I would like to seek sponsorship from the developers or from anybody, that will donate to the arts. A letter has to be put in, and I'll tell you what I did. Because of COVID, I usually have a fundraiser at a function hall, and I didn't do it this year because of COVID. And so I put a letter together, and everybody was very generous. I did get quite a few donations, so I figured if we put in a really good letter stating that we want to start public arts, we want to display public arts around the city. If they could contribute, that would be great. So I just want to put that forward to the committee and see what you have to say about that.
I think it's a great idea. Oh, sorry. just quickly, I think that I had mentioned something, I think, in a previous meeting, that I have some information about real estate development and how the arts affect that, like, economically. So I think it's something that I really should share to everyone, to you guys at our next meeting, because we might decide that choosing one of the platforms of public art might make really a lot of sense for Revere. And some of them directly relate, and it would be interesting for developers. So it could help us to come up with a strategy, like a kind of like overview strategy for that.
Can I ask you, Aaron, what you mean by platform?
So, for example, there are a few different presentations of public art. So, you know, in my case, I was looking at specifically sculpture.
Okay.
And so there are, you know, obviously permanent artworks. And then you have annual exhibits, which you can imagine are designed to bring back the same sort of traffic every year, like, you know, Sandcastle event would be something like that. And then there are also like one-off temporary exhibits. So basically meaning permanent works versus semi-permanent versus temporary or one-time events. So all different sort of, you know, things like that. But for example, if we design something, and I can show you guys examples of this, but if we design something that would be, for example, an annual event in certain locations throughout the city, that would be really appealing to certain types of developers, if that makes sense, you know, to attract to those key locations. Specifically, you know, like you can just imagine an example like hotels, for example, things like that, where it's something that's, you know, annually bringing in, you know, tourists.
Right. I think that's great. I also think that, you know, we can have, there are a couple of hotels going up now. I'm sure they have lobbies. I know some of the developments have lobbies. We could feature an artist or a photographer or, you know, whoever in that certain building to bring people in to show that we're here. And so I think, you know, that's a possibility too.
That seems to be like we're expanding the role, whereas a permanent installation that we select and get developers to help us basically fund and promote it is a thing the Public Arts Commission does. Public Art Community, which is stepping into now for semi-annually or pop-up type style things, we need to build, again, as I push back, because I sent all that information to you when we first started from the American of the Arts about the dynamics of what the dollars are for placemaking, supporting an area, everything you're talking about, Aaron. We have that stuff. I went and had it re-updated by Jeff Turco and Jessica for the districts that we're in, and I've asked all the city councilors, Joanne, you got one of those. We discussed a little bit about helping us identify the demographics and the people who will interact with us community-wise and business-wise who want to be part of the public arts program to do that. So we have that information in a little bit. I'm hoping within the next week or so before the next meeting that I'll have the responses back from all of the city councilors, especially the ward ones, but where they identify something as a potential for a piece of public art that we can take and produce. You had mentioned about the banners, but I've also got it where there's kiosk type things. There's several different things they can look at since every single location is different. And we want to take in anything we put in. We want it to match the surrounds. We want it to look proper. We want it to look like it's a Revere piece of art. That's the right thing to do there. So we can do that, but go look at the stuff I sent you that has all that information. I know what you're talking about. The American for the Arts has it. How much the arts produce. So basically what I'm trying to get the city councils to do is give me enough information so that we can do an assessment of what the cultural, artistic, and community vibe is about what public arts can be and should be, and do we want to participate in this with us when we do that? So I'm all on board for what you're doing with that, Aaron, 100%.
Mhm.
And we should have that report from the councilors, hopefully, Joanne, push on your friends, real soon. And then we'll be able to look at that and make better determinations. And the pop-up park, it could be just on a wall. It can be a bunch of different things, but it'll all be able to fit community-wise so that we can grow the city and turn the stuff around from one location to another, because it'll be standardization of the sizes of what's presented.
Okay.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
I think it's a great idea to request sponsorship and funding participation from the community, from developers and otherwise. However, we have to be strategic about setting up an account and how that's going to be operated and who's going to oversee that from the committee. If we're going to be accepting funds, we'll need to take the time to set that up in advance.
Okay.
Did I make a suggestion?
And who's
We
going
look
to, because at the moment we don't have a treasurer.
That's what we need.
On
We
the
need someone
commission.
with a background on that. So maybe we look for someone with a background like that that might like to, I'll play in the arts a little.
So maybe if we're considering adding 2 positions, maybe that's one of them.
Oh, that'd be great. That's a great idea.
And we need to start exploring the percentage for the arts in Massachusetts, applying it to the percentage of the arts for Revere.
Well, I think the new year, we really need to step it up a little bit. And like Aaron said, we've been here since May and we really haven't done anything, to show who we are. So I really do think that we really need to step it up. And we talk about a lot of things, but we don't do a lot of things. So
We keep pushing it to another meeting. Let's just
right.
make a decision.
So that's what I'm saying, Brian. I'm saying that we need
Thank
to
you.
start acting instead of talking. So, Al, are we going to draft a letter together? You want to draft a letter together?
Sponsorship?
A sponsorship letter? I can do it too,
Well, maybe Brian and Erin want to work on that. That's their thought. Do you want to draft a letter and send it to Councilor McKenna?
I would love to work with Brian to draft a letter. I think that the best idea is to have, or a great idea would be to come up with first together what exactly we're asking for the funding for, like which projects we want to fund, or is it?
Why should we ask for projects? Why can't we just ask for future, art endeavors?
Why not ask them for the organizational development of the Public Arts Commission in Revere? These are the steps we'd like to take. We'd like you to participate with us to help market and fund it.
Another opportunity could be to request sponsorship to fund grants, and then we could run. So once Brian receives the information from each of the counselors about specific projects that they're interested in funding, we could then provide do a call to artists for a particular project and create a stipend for that work through the commission.
Excellent.
From a process standpoint, it might just be cleaner to do it that way. So perhaps we'd say, for example, we were able to receive $50,000 in sponsorship, and then we take a look at the list of requested projects through the city council, and then we can, establish it by that and say, do a call to artists for, say, $20,000 for a particular installment, and then review the proposals and award the grant or the stipend accordingly.
All right, what I want to clarify, making sure it's very stately cleared, the city councilors are assisting in getting information and demographics. They're not choosing what the art pieces are going to be that they're going into any locations that they may take and say, well, this might be a good place for it. It's all short towards going after ARPA dollars.
Right.
How it can be effective, what are the positive points that we have as a community, as a ward, as a section, where we can go and get grant money from ARPA for the development of arts.
So you're talking about a different process.
It's all, no, it's
ARPA
all,
is a different process than having,
right, but
having
ARPA,
people
the American
fund
Rescue
money.
Plan has a big section that can go to arts that goes across the board. So that we need to be able to make them understand that we can get those dollars, but we also need to go after grant funding, which is separate from the ARPA dollars. So the process, if we do it the same, it can apply because we've got perfect demographics for what we need to do to have people that are willing to spend money to make things grow. We're that city. We're growing. We're a diverse community. We've got all different age groups here. We've got history to cutting edge type things. We have all that here. And we've got the potential for development from Suffolk Downs to the beach to everywhere else where we're sitting on the tip of where we could be a big art destination one day.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I think that we're talking about now 3 different things. So us as a public art commission applying for grants is one possible source of funding.
Right.
ARPA dollars is another source of funding, but it does go through a rigorous approval process
But
through
we
the
can
city. And the third,
Let her finish, please.
and the third is what Erin was talking about and what Councilor McKenna was talking about, and that's going after private funding through sponsorship or donations. So that's 3 different sources of funding, but all of which would require still the setting up of an established account and a treasurer that would manage and maintain and oversee that funding and make sure that, you know, there's checks and balances on how it comes in and how it's spent.
Absolutely.
And how it's facilitated. So I think we're looking at 3 different funding sources now that have been mentioned, if I understand correctly.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
We've got to, if we're going to grow, we need to.
Yes.
Otherwise, we've got great ideas and nothing's happening with them. So we need to sell ourselves to the people we approach. Sometimes we need to be very specific and drill down so that there's enough information and checks and balances so that we can do it with whatever individual group we're doing it with and a funding source.
Well, I think to get started, I think we should send out a letter to the, you know, developers and whoever's in high authority and see if we can start with getting some donations. With the grants, I think that would be, you know, next. But I think we should start. We need to start somewhere. We don't have
exactly.
We don't have any. We don't have a pot. You know, it's just like we want to do all these things, but we don't have any money to do it. So I think we really need to start now with that and acquire donations and you know, just ask if they would please fund with that. You know, we're a new organization, a nonprofit organization. We're just starting out. We want to bring arts to Revere. We want to bring it down to, you know, in your development, you know,
Yeah.
But we should start now with
Yeah,
that.
this was something in the very beginning that we had talked about, maybe putting in with like the water bill statements that every resident gets that already goes out is a great way to do it, or going out with the tax forms that go out. That's already being mailed out, so we aren't paying for postage twice if we can do that, because we're just looking to get donations in that sense.
I think I disagree with you. I think a personal letter to each developer, we get, you know, whoever's in a high place, a personal letter is, I don't know. I just think it's more powerful than just putting a letter out. I mean, we could put a letter out in the water bill, and, you know, there could be, you know, Joe Schmo who wants to give $20, you know, so that would be wonderful. We'll take whatever we can get. Even if we get $1, we'll take it. But, you know, to get the big money, I think we should put a personal letter out. That's just my opinion. I mean, if you want to, you know, discuss this is fine.
Sounds
If you
great.
disagree with me, it's fine. You know, I mean, whatever works for this committee, for this commission.
Well-
I just want to get it off the ground. You know, and I don't think we've gotten it off the ground. We've talked a lot about great ideas and great things to do, but and I'll be the first one to say, me too. But I don't think we have to start somewhere. We have to take that first step. So, you know, and we need money to do it. So, you know, we're just going to sit on Zoom once a month and just talk about things. And I don't want to do that. I want this to be successful. So,
One
one
thing.
of the things I'd like to add, I see one of the ways to be successful would be to be very strategic about our outreach. So as we've mentioned, we've got multiple ways for people to donate money. So one is you can do en masse and a mailer and lower volume or lower value donations, high volume. And then also, Joanne, you've mentioned developers, but there's a lot of organizations within Revere that would benefit with greater community support, or I guess they would be shown as supporting the community. And I think from that perspective, we need to look at multiple industries to call Revere a home. So we should broaden our scope in that regard. And the personal letter is fantastic for that targeted outreach. And that's one way to do it. But I think we can actually look at this once we have established, as Elle said, we have to establish, I guess the whatever needs to be done for the city. And in order for us to get the funds, if we send a letter out and they're ready to give us funds right away, then we need to be prepared for that. So once we start that motion, so if we can actually build out the details and approach the committee more like or the commission, approach it more as look at a project plan. I mean, I'm talking kind of a tech geek here, and stepping back and saying, okay, these are our goals, and we can just list them out and put dates and ownership and what tasks need to be done, so we don't lose that and we keep the momentum. We can make it a living document. I'm not sure if that's possible or not, but that's something that we can take all these elements in the meetings and really start listing it out. And then we can have people accountable. And if they need support, they can outreach with the support. But in order to get this going, I think just organizationally, from a commission standpoint, we need to pull that together. And my time has become very limited as of late. And I would love to be able to help out, and I can commit time to the Public Art Commission to do this, as far as putting the details together. But I'd be looking to everybody to review and support and have feedback as I build this out. So this will be taken I'll take this approach from all the meeting minutes that we've had over the last number of months and see what line items we've discussed, and we can pull together all the projects, and then we can detail out, say, okay, we need to do this. We can work with subcommittees. So we've got a subcommittee for the Northern Strand. Potentially, do we have a subcommittee for the outreach strategy? So we can develop all this, and we can actually put some documentation behind it and say, this is what our strategy is. Let's execute against it. Almost a roadmap for the next year. And we can measure ourselves at the end of as we go along in the months and say, how are we doing and where do we need to pivot? We're not going to get it all right the first time.
right.
And we should be willing to accept change when change is necessary. But as far as the this kind of goes back to my earlier point of outreach needs to be very targeted. And I think pulling together a specific plan for this outreach will benefit us a great deal. And what type of outreach we're going to do. And then we can build on top of that. But in order to hit that outreach, we also need to make sure that everything's in order from a governance perspective and policy perspective within the city of Revere.
Okay, thank you, Rob. That's great information. Thank you. And great ideas. Anybody else? Erin, you wanted to talk, but
yeah, no, I think that sounds great. I think something, you know, that we can all work off of, right?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Call to artists update. Rob and Erin.
So I'm not sure actually where we stand, if we received submissions for the call to artists. I know it was up, right? And the submission deadline was supposed to be January 15th.
We haven't received any submissions.
Really?
I moved out the deadline because we did have a discussion in regards to the final date, whether it needed to be completed within this fiscal year, it could extend beyond. And because we did have that information and we didn't have any submissions, I went ahead and pushed everything out by 2 months to have the project completed by August 2022, as opposed to June. It's updated on a Google form and it's on the website. I did receive a phone call from an artist, a muralist actually, that we had previously I had discussed a previous project with that he was going to be a subcontractor on, and he was looking to see if we had any public art opportunities. So I directed him to the website. So I think he may be interested in putting in a submission, but I'm not sure. So that's what I have for an update.
Oh, that's funny because one artist told me that they did submit, so they must have done something.
Do you know where it was submitted to?
It should have been to what it said on the form.
Yeah, nothing has been received to my knowledge.
All right, it must have been.
I believe it was going to the purchasing department.
Okay.
To Michael Piccati.
Okay. So does this mean that, just because I'm not looking right now online, was the submission deadline pushed exactly 2 months to March 15th?
Everything, I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but I can pull it up.
I'll check.
Yes, March 15th.
Okay.
And the question response out to April 11th. Proposal by April 25th. Community meeting May 10th. Approval of project by June 1st. 50% complete by July 25th. And 100% complete by August 25th, 2022.
Okay.
So all the same timelines were kept, but it was moved out in order to allow for additional submissions to be received.
So, Erin, what did we ever come to a conclusion on how we're going to move forward with promoting the job on different artist boards?
Yes. So there was the big one that I had suggested that we work with. It's called Call for Entry. And you guys might remember where we left off. There's the fee would be, it's $300 every time you post a new job, a new call. Mm-hmm. And then there's another $200 fee to sign up. So basically for us to create the account and post this one call would be $500.
Okay.
And so the last that we talked about and we decided together that we didn't want to do that.
So right now,
are there other opportunities that haven't been explored? I think I remember a few people on the call had some other avenues that could have been posted on. I think maybe it was Brian and maybe Erin.
So there
So,
were a couple,
go ahead.
there were a couple that I did post on.
Mhm.
They were the smaller ones that were,
Okay.
so it's publicartist.org. And then the other thing that I did was I reached out to about 25 muralists that I found on Instagram. I reached out to them individually and sent, personal messages, letting them know, inviting them to submit. About 7 or 8 of them said that they were going to submit. And
Okay.
then some of the other ones had some questions. And then one of them did tell me that he did submit.
Okay.
That was all just very kind of grassroots of reaching out to people individually.
Great.
But yeah, these are the other ones that I posted on were definitely much smaller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Erin.
So Aaron, quick question on the fee. That $300, that's just for a posting. There's no ongoing fees for submissions, right?
Correct.
Okay. Elle, and this is more clarification on how the funding can be spent, but would it be possible? So we have $1,000 in our kitty for the pack. 200 goes to us signing up for this board, and then every project that we post, we allocate an administrative fee to paying for that posting. Is that doable in the funding?
Not sure I understand what you mean by administrative.
So,
For example,
paid for the
it would
posting
be
for that.
$300 per project. So we would need, if we have $1,000, we would spend $500 on one project. And then the $200 to sign up just to be able to post, that's an annual fee. It's not forever. So
Okay.
that would be a $200 fee per year. And then $300 per, so we have right now 2 call to artists out. So that would be $800 to just post those 2 projects.
Right. But what I'm asking is the funding for the actual project, whatever, I guess 30, 25, 20, 30,000, can that be used as for the project, for the posting of that on, can that be used for that fee? Or do we have to pull it out of the kitty, the pet kitty?
I think it could be used, but I'll double check with auditing.
Okay.
It should be. That shouldn't be an issue.
So
I will check with auditing.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
One thing I was thinking about it because the more that I think about it, I think it is really worth it for us to do this, to post the call on this site. I mean, there's no guarantee to know how many submissions we're going to get. Of course, I really don't know. But I think I mentioned to you guys that I have been on the other side and I've seen a lot of feedback from this site. And one thing that, since these are our first bigger projects, bigger mural projects, we will probably get a lot of muralists, submitting to. And these contacts we will have forever. Mm-hmm. So when we do have calls, we can, send out to our list of, people that we've received submissions from in the past. So it could be almost like a Rolodex of, getting the contacts, an investment in just the future projects. Because we're thinking about getting all this money, but actually we do have the budget for a couple of really big, exciting projects right now.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely big.
Yeah. And I think that really, what we can do instead of immediately putting all our energy towards getting more money is to make sure that we do an awesome job on these 2 projects. Because, if the murals are amazing, it's going to be really easy to get people to want to be a part,
But we need to take what Rob had in mind and what I've pushed forever. We need to set the infrastructure up so that when it works and it begins, we can do it so that we can work with the city, so that we can do our social marketing, so we can communicate as a group without violating any laws because it's a quorum. We need the infrastructure in. I just don't think we need a minute. Yes, grants, those are a year project. Getting a grant doesn't happen instantly, but getting money from people that want to help us right away, that's the first step. Opera, that's going to be a year and a half for those projects, but you've got to start laying the groundwork for that so that the organization can grow upon each success we have, rather than stopping and starting everything up all over to get it to the point where we can proceed. We need to build our infrastructure. That's why we need more people. We need someone that has a background so that the treasury thing is taken care of. We need to build our social media. Aaron, you did a test basically to see who it was. I did the same thing. A lot of people said it sounds great. A lot of people told me it's the COVID. We're not going to be doing stuff around people right now. So change of the year, it gets warmer. I think we'll do better with that, but we need our infrastructure in place for us to be successful in doing this type of thing. We just can't wish it. That's for sure. But we need to make our goals shorter and the stuff we take on with the things that we set up. I think we need to set up, Robert, right away, who's going to be the treasurer type stuff, what their responsibilities are and how they work with the city. And two, Joanne, how we get individuals that want to be patrons and sponsors of the Revere Public Arts Commission to work with us. And then farther down the road, the process begins for, we want to do grants. We definitely want to start the process on opera. There's no city better situated for that to work than the city of Revere.
Good points. All good points. Good points. So moving forward, the city, do we have to have a separate account for our monies, or could we use the city as the bank? I know we need a treasurer, but can we put I know the city has accounts. Can we put the account in the city account and just have it PAC?
So
PAC account.
Anything that's funded through the nonprofit organization or the board and committee, I'll have to check on the rules and regulations, whether it follows the same procurement rules as if it was in a city account versus a nonprofit board account.
Okay.
So I'll have to double check on that,
Okay.
which I actually have already sent an email to Ashley, just asking her how we can facilitate receiving funds.
Thank you.
And so I just did that while we were talking. So we'll have to connect with her and auditing as well and just figure out what the rules are. So we'll just figure out what they are and then decide accordingly whether or not it should be a city account, if it has to be a city account, or does it make more sense that it's separate?
Okay.
Okay, because each will have different rules to abide by.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item on the agenda is New Street Art Project. So there's an underpass. I don't know if you guys saw it, but in the summer it was inundated with weeds. It's the underpass that is on Revere Beach Parkway. It's on the corner of Revere Beach Parkway and American Legion Parkway. And it's usually trucks turn around to go to Boston. They'll come off of American Legion Highway, turn around under the underpass, and they'll go into Boston. I don't know if you know where this is, but it's before the bridge. It's the Winthrop Ave Bridge that goes into Broadway, or it goes, left to Revere Beach Parkway, or it goes right to Bell Circle. So do we all know what I'm talking about?
Over where Mark Silvestri lives?
Yes, but a
Okay,
lot
yeah.
of people don't know where Mark Silvestri lives. So
Well, I'm saying that because a lot of people
don't want to give it
don't
away.
know.
So.
and I don't want to give Mark Silvestri's address away, but
No,
yeah,
don't.
he's over in that neighborhood. Yeah. I was by that 2 days ago. Yeah, it is
Yes.
dark and dingy. Joanne, you need to get up there and sweep it up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So do you guys know where I'm talking about? No?
Yeah, are you talking about the where 1A goes over
Yes.
Parkway?
Yes.
Okay.
Underneath.
Okay.
So what happened was the state, the Mass DOT cut the bushes and the weeds and everything because it was going into the streets, and it was you know, on the street. So cars were going over it, but they ended up cutting it. So what happened was when they cut it, they freed it up so it can get it was getting tagged by people that graffiti, that are doing graffiti, and it's not really good. The tags aren't really good. It's just whatever it is. It just gives initials or whatever. So first of all, it really needs to be cleaned up by the city. And my biggest gripe when the city, and I'm not saying anything about the city, but when they go over graffiti, they go over it with either a different color or black or whatever. And it gives a canvas for these artists to go in and do crazy things. What they either need to do is spray wash it so the graffiti comes off, or they have to paint it the same color as the concrete. But I just think that, if people are gonna come down and graffiti it, maybe we should call to artists, some graffiti artists that can do a really good job underneath that underpass and make a really nice mural. What happened in Chelsea 10 years ago, a guy was caught tagging buildings and went in front of a judge, and he was made to do a mural underneath Chelsea underpass, which it was beautiful, and no one touched it. So maybe we could do something like that, a call to graffiti artists. And I'm not just saying like graffiti artists that just put, JOANNE with a line underneath it, someone that's gonna present some beautiful art.
Stylized street painting, yes.
So, but right now it needs to be covered. Elle, can we get the city? I know it's kind of cold to paint, but we really need to cover that. It looks terrible. And that's the gateway to Revere, coming over that bridge and seeing that.
All right, yeah.
So,
did they paint like a tunnel design, just black-like, so it looked like you could drive in it?
Yeah, that's a canvas.
Joke, Joanne.
Yeah.
So this actually aligns well. Your comments align well with the strategy of the Northern Strand. I think we were discussing doing elements of more street art around that, and I think one of the things from the Northern Strand that could entice, let's say, a competition almost is if we have a group of street artists working with the one Northern Strand slot, and then the winner, whatever we deem like the rules of the competition, would be given that mural. So that could be part of the outcome, where we could not only we could maybe able to attract a lot of local artists, street artists. It would start with giving us a great setup and a number of, what we're looking at, about 6 different artists or something like that. I think, was it? Yeah, 6 artists, one artist per 2 columns. And then whoever wins that, we know their resume, what they're capable of doing, and then that can be awarded. That's just an idea.
That's a very great idea. That's very exciting.
Those two.
One thing we're going to want to watch in that is if we have other community artists do it too.
Well, I think that, but that's fine. We're not the role of what we're looking for are just artists from Revere. We're looking for artists to come and beautify Revere. So even if they're outside of Revere, they can win that.
I agree with your mindset 100%, but with this being street art that's done by taggers, we want to engage the Revere tagging community, because that's really who's going to tag it. You know what I mean? It isn't like they ride around, oh, there's a Chelsea or an Everett one, let's tag that. So we want to engage those people so they do less of destructive tagging and more of creative street art with it using air cans, you know what I mean? Spray paint cans. There's a whole art to that. And what it does is it brings down the demographic age and incorporates people it's a certain age group. Some are so good at it, they do it forever and they become, Bankskis of the world, but not everyone's doing that. But it pulls in more people that want to participate. That's the only reason I'm saying we should try to get a Revere thing. And are we going to do both sides of the highway, Joanne, or just underneath where it's dark, where the turn is?
It's mostly where the turn is.
Yeah, that looks real cool when you drive by that. That's got a great look, that place.
I'll tell you, it will deter, street art, graffiti artists from tagging it if it's a really good, aesthetically pleasing, piece of art.
Bright and brilliant under there to just night or day.
But I like Rob's idea too, that it could be a competition. It really could be a competition. So I like Rob's idea too. Maybe we should wait.
Yes.
We should wait until the northern strand is done and see. And like you said, the resume is going to be on the columns, so we can pick or have some sort of competition. That would be great. And then give. You can give them a Home Depot's card for $250 so they can renew their spray paint. So, something like that. I don't know, but I'm just kidding. But I think it's great. I think both of you have great ideas. The only thing with that underpass, it has probably a 5-foot sidewalk. So whoever's out there has to be very careful on what they're going to do, because it's very narrow.
But we need a detail there on that, why that was going on.
Yeah, big trucks come by there all the time. So, it's not the greatest working place to do a mural, but, and so we'll have to just take that, as caution. So,
no, it's a drive-by look at, not go visit personally type place.
Yeah,
right.
We'll definitely, I think when we do the draft, the requirements for the site, this will all be incorporated into that. So when we do get there, I think it'll work well.
Al, can we have that cleaned up temporarily in the next couple of? I know there's a couple of
put in a request through
warmer
the 311.
days. Excuse me.
I'll put in a request for the cleanup through the 311.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, number 6, email address. Al, you want to talk about that?
I sent out a test last week and I didn't get any responses, so I had a feeling it wasn't operational. So I reached out to IT. I actually just tried to catch up with them before the meeting to see if that's been set up. So what I had provided for email addresses was Council McKenna, myself, and Erin. And that's what I had heard back from. Was there anyone else that wants to be included in that?
I had forwarded back to an email on that response, nicksbreen.com.
Okay, nicksbreen.com. That nicksbreen.com is a website.
Forgive me, that's my website, at yahoo.com.
Okay.
That's where I take all the art stuff.
Okay.
So, as I said, I just followed up with them again today to see if that was all set. So should be not a problem.
Okay, great, Al. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Social media proposal, Brian?
We've got the Instagram stuff. I'm just waiting to get the finalized Naomi graphic piece of wonder sent to me. That's the Revere Public Arts Commission symbol, and I'll lay it up. I've gone and looked for some stuff on Paul. The designs are tasteful and right. I've got some stuff saved from where we did the pictures for the kids where they drew when it was see the truck type thing. And I'm sure we can put together some pictures we've got of the locations of where we want the murals to go, get a picture of the Northern Strand thing. I think that's going to be a blowout, that one. It's going to be great when people see that. And just keep it like that, and it updates when we do something. And that's it. Simple enough.
Great.
And they can reach out to us. It'll be a link back to our email when we get that going.
Okay.
And
When go ahead, Naomi.
I thought I shared the logo with you like a while ago. Did you never get
I had a couple of different versions on the last one I got.
There was like the yellow and the blue version, and then there was the red and the blue version with the white background.
Yeah. And we decided on the red and the blue version because of the city colors.
Please be resent to me the red and blue one.
Yeah, so you can use that one for the Instagram profile picture. I also think that we should.
Oh, that, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we should keep doing the Artist of the Month thing. Well, we were gonna start with me, but I don't know if we have time for that this week, so maybe next week. But yeah, I can send you the pictures for that and a little artist statement that I wrote up for it. And I think if we do that and with like different artists from the community every week, it'll help more people in Revere know about us, because like I feel like overall a lot of artists here are looking for exposure, and there's no better place for exposure than like the literal like Revere Art Commission. So I feel like that will attract a lot more people who make art in Revere and maybe help with our call to artists too. I know that there was somebody last week, I forgot his name, but he recently passed away, and you guys said that you wanted to put him as an Artist of the Month too, and I thought that would be a cool idea too.
Oh, Ferraro, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is the Instagram up and running now, Brian?
I have it, but I have not published it so that anyone could see it yet until everything was like, okay, we'll do it.
So do we
Okay,
have the
let's
work
do it.
from the artist that you mentioned?
I have all stuff. I need to place that up. I wanted to make sure everyone was cool with that. And I want the logo so I can stick it on there.
Okay, so that's our next item on the agenda. So it was an update on the PAC logo bumper sticker. And talking with a bunch of you, we decided that we were going to have a 3x3 sticker for a car window for the back. I did order 100, came to $195. It's being done as we speak. It's the red, white, and blue, Naomi, that we talked about in the last meeting. But they're going to be 3x3, and you can stick them on it's going to be in the inside of the window. You stick them on the inside of the window so they don't interfere with, like, if you're cleaning off the car, if they'll scrape off or whatever, they're going to be inside. They're backwards. So they're going to be frontwards when they're, well, they're not backwards. They're just going to be stuck inside the window. Does anybody want to say anything about that? Are we excited that we have at least?
Absolutely. Can you do some more explaining on that, Joanna, about inside the window?
No, it's just going to be, it's like your parking pass. You put it inside the window instead of outside the window. So that's what it's going to be. It's just you peel it off and stick it in the window inside the car. So it doesn't.
Thank God, huh, Naomi? Because people saw them, they'd be scanning it. Oh, I need that. That's the Naomi.
Well, we were going to get magnets, and then I think I talked to Elle, and and I talked to the printer too, and he said they'll steal them. So what good is if they steal them? What good is it to promote your commission? So I said, okay. So he's kind of the one who said, let's do a sticker inside so it doesn't interfere with outside, and we'll make it just like the parking passes. And I
Sounds
said,
like a
"Great."
great thing to have as a give to for people that are patrons and sponsors.
Right.
Like
Oh, there it is, right there, Brian. Good idea. Good
right on
idea.
your business window, right on where you work, right in your car.
So just a little ditty. When I sent my contributions, I did send an envelope with a stamp on it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of putting a stamp on, I did put a stamp, on the envelope. So we could put these in the letters and see. I mean, we can always order more. We could
Let
put
them
these
know
in the
that,
letters.
or
Excuse
let
me?
them know that they can get one of these great stickers when they become a patron and sponsor.
Well, I bet so 75% of the people sent me contributions and 25% of them didn't know. I think if we gain 75 contributions and lose 25, I think it's a win-win. Mm-hmm. So we send out 100 letters. Well, there's the 100, but say we send out 50 letters. Just say we send out 50 logos.
I don't think the logos will change anything with the letter asking for them to be patron and sponsors. I think we use the logos as something that gives us a marketing tool. Oh, here's someone. We're sending it out to them, and it gets splashed across social media or whatever. Or the Revere Journal does an article about it, talking about how we're doing that. And this is one of the steps to identify people that do that. It was all done by our great local high school graduate, Naomi.
So Naomi, what I can do is I can reach out to Carrie Schumann, and he's the editor for one of the editors for the Revere Journal, and maybe he can do a little story about you with your creating the logo, and that's the first maybe PR we can get.
You mean our art laureate?
Yes.
There's some more for that story that we're still waiting for. Doctor, whoever from school, forgive me for making sure that happens. And I think Naomi may have to write a one-page little thing about the person that comes in next, the steps that they should follow that she had to go through. And there you got a great story, and it gives us something to push out.
I wrote a little thing about it for one of my supplementary essays for when I was applying to colleges about
Cool.
I could probably use some of that.
Right, but he'll probably call you on the phone and interview you on the phone, or interview you, like take a picture of you with the logo, or meet you somewhere. But I'll set that up and see if I can get him to do this. You'll have to text me your telephone number when you get a chance. I have it, but just text it to me.
I'll email it to you.
Okay, great. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything? Do we like the idea of the sticker in the car?
Hell yeah, you did a great job in that.
Okay, great. No one's saying anything except you, Brian. So.
Well, I always do. That's just how it is.
Oh, I know.
I'm positive that I got time to do this. I don't have a brand new baby that looks beautiful. I'm waiting to see a picture of her. I'm not going to school. I'm not doing other things, with, spreadsheets and stuff like Rob. I'm not a city councilor that has all her time taken up, or poor Elle, who does more work than all of us together. So I can say a bunch and push a lot and try to help. But we're getting there. So things that are easy, like, do we do the sticker? We said it 100 times. Just print it. Mm-hmm. That's all. I don't think the sticker is going to make us have a letter be better. I think we can use the stickers in other ways to promote us in fun type things. And one of the ways to promote it is to tell the story about how the sticker came up by pushing Naomi and getting the Revere Journal off its butt and start recognizing that there's other things in the city besides what they push in there, and that we need to have some stuff about the arts mentioned.
Well, like I said, I'll call Carrie Schumann. He's been very good to me.
He's a great guy. He'll do a wonderful job with it.
So, yeah, and I'll talk to him about this. This would be great because, in between the council meetings, they're always looking for something to write. So that would be great. So expect a call. Naomi. All right, and you get the first, I'll give you the first sticker I get.
All righty.
Okay,
Aw,
And when I get mine from you, Naomi, I want it signed.
signed.
I do.
Okay.
I've got all your stuff stored away. I'm saving the history of what we've done.
Okay, let's move on. Brian's a big fan, Naomi. The update on the spring art event, the Northern Strand, Erin and Rob.
So I think as it's looking now, the idea was to reach spring, and where we're at with the current, projects where we haven't really seen any activity. We may need to look at pushing the date back a bit, make sure that it's during good weather.
Right.
Those are my thoughts behind it. My apologies, I wasn't here in the November meeting to discuss the stat. I don't know what may have been discussed around this in detail. Just from the meeting minutes is what I saw. So Erin, do you have anything to add or?
Yeah, no, I think we had only had the one meeting, which was kind of preliminary, talking about basic general theme. So in our last meeting in November, Elle and I talked about what we spoke about, using the theme or artists from the communities running through and representing. And everyone seemed to like that idea. But again, yeah, it was well received. So I think we can, when we meet again with the subcommittee, we can elaborate on that and hash out more detail. All right.
So one of my action items on this will be as part of the project development, just for the overall commission. I'll identify some dates where the three of us can regroup and establish more of a working timeline. I mean, there's logistics that we'll need to hit anyway to back into it, and see if we can make sure that the stars align on this. So expect outreach from me this week, just as far as scheduling some time for next week, just to get the ball rolling. And then, as we mentioned in our other meeting, potentially getting together somehow to sit and discuss.
Thanks, Rob.
You know what the good thing about this is, Rob, is that we're just building templates right now. And once we get it up and running, stuff's just going to plug into things that we've already got the dynamics all set up for it, and it'll work. But one of the things you need to do is we need to consider inside of the parameters that you're writing for the timelines for the project is when we're going to start the social media broadcasting. Yes, we have our official Instagram, but we've got unofficial places where we can communicate with this. And especially an event like that, we start pushing it. And once we know that the other 5 communities besides Revere 6 altogether will be participating in it, that's going to let it grow organically across social media. And it's going to be probably our biggest event we're going to have, even maybe more so than the other 2 murals going up, because of multi-city and multi-artists participating in the event at once.
And that's what we're going to be looking towards, coordinating with the cities, and obviously leaning on people that have expertise in that matter, multi-city events and whatnot.
And we need to get the social media. We need to, and I'm going to help work on that. The social media infrastructure that we work with, so that it gets hyped, it gets promoted, and it gets marketed across the board. Besides just having to go to call places, that we start to get a buzz where people see it, ancillary. Oh, look at this. There's something here. Why haven't I known about that? And they drill into it and find out. And then we alleviate ourselves from having to rely on spending funds to take and get people to go, like how Erin mentioned earlier, grow our contact knowledge.
Elle, were you going to say something?
Yes. I just wanted to just check in and ask Brian if the Instagram is already set up, can you go ahead and post the links to the call for artists on there?
Oh, absolutely. I'll do
Okay.
all of that. I will have it all. I want someone.
Like, we can start that now without, I think if everybody agrees to you being able to post that, that would be a great way to maybe drum up some interest.
I'll make a motion to do that.
And I'll agree to the motion. I will give you this as the date, though.
Right.
Tomorrow I've got to go do an architectural shoot of an 1862 house, Victorian house up on the North Shore. But
Yeah, sometime this week if you can
Thursday,
get it
I can
posted, that'd be
spend
great.
time making sure it's all lined up. I know you're going to be an admin through that, and that we didn't decide who else wants to participate in it.
Anyone?
I'm
Erin?
just going to have your
We can't
name
hear you.
there. I have a heart attack, and great funeral. You're going to take it over. That's all.
That's not happening.
Oh God,
You're staying with us.
I'm
Just
telling you.
About admin for the Instagram, right?
Yeah, just some admin help. That's all. It doesn't mean you need to do anything. I'm always going to email you, chat you, get ready to push stuff up, go take a look, and then, push it out. I just want to make sure that it meets all the guidelines, everything's right, and, it's no one's going to get offensive with anything that ever goes up there. I just want it to be a positive type of informational place. And our social media, that's where we can develop our marketing and stuff, because we should be able to grow that once we get enough people inside looking at us.
Right.
With all my 6 followers, I'm sure I'll attract a lot of people.
Who you'll attract is the people that are your lifestyle, that do stuff that you like. That's where you need to look at. Say, hey, look, I'm a little different than you. This is what I do. Come look at this. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, that's nice. I like the arts. People are afraid of the arts. They're not sure what it is or what to do with it in their lives. So part of what we're doing here as a community is pulling people in and saying, we believe as a community, as a city, as the 6 or 7 people that sit on this board and help us do the things to do this, that this is worth your time and your effort to be part of it. It may be small. You may just be, I'm a supporter for you. Or you may be a patron that steps up and does a lot more, interacts, and wants to be part of us. We're here for it. The city wants all of us, Revere, to do this together. Come be part of this and make what we do as a community just that much nicer, so that when you see some great little piece of art somewhere, oh, that's unusual. How nice is that? Or a beautiful mural that's done. That's what I think we should be about. Art does nothing for Revere but make it better. Plain and simple.
Well, there's your first TikTok for Nick Spring.
I have not done any TikTok, I'll tell you that.
Like I said, it'll be your first.
I guess so.
Great. Okay, let's move on. So it's been brought to my attention that on some city websites, there are pictures that belong to people, photos or art that belong to people, and they're not getting recognized for the photographs or the artwork. So I'm just suggesting going forward that if we use anything for the website and we use photographs or whatever we use, that we recognize the artist. And it's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Now, would that be under the Revere policy, Al, for posting images on websites?
Joanne mentioned some photos that were posted on revere.org. I'm not sure how they were posted. So we're actually investigating that right now, but they should be given credit.
Okay. So that's just a standard cadence.
Well, I would
for the city.
Just if you're using anyone's photograph.
That's universal. That's universal.
Yeah. Okay.
What I'd like to suggest is we maybe curate a little bit the imagery that's on the Revere site and find pictures that might be even nicer and sharper and cleaner, and deliver the message more?
On the Public Art Commission page, is that what you're referring to?
On the City of Revere's, any imagery that it's showing. It could use an update. Some of those are old images, and some of them, just when they migrated it in and put it up on the thing, it's lost its ability to be focused right, colored right, and things like that. It looks nicer and sharper and better.
Mm-hmm. I think from my feeling from the position of the commission, that seems more content related to the City of Revere versus what our mission is. I appreciate that 100%, but that's where I want to make sure that the City of Revere and their web designers make those decisions where we shouldn't be a bottleneck on any of that.
Right. The only thing I'm asking for is if there's if the City of Revere takes a photograph from someone, that person has either a watermark on the photograph or their name on the if it's a piece of artwork, their name on the artwork. That's all I'm asking, a recognition to the artist. It doesn't have to be us. It can be anybody if they use their photographs. A perfect example of this is, Bobby Mara takes sports photography for the Revere Journal. He does it freelancing, and they always say photographs by Bobby Mara. I think people should be recognized for their work. I don't think that, say a picture of mine should be on a website without my name on it. So I think there should be at least a watermark or recognition for an artist. And that's all I'm asking for going forward.
Courtesy of.
Going forward.
Courtesy of. Yeah.
Yep, going forward.
You're doing that. Bob Upton's got a picture up, and it's courtesy of Bob Upton. So that's all it is.
Yeah, that's all we have to do. That's all, going forward. So, all right. The next.
And they'll update the current ones.
And update the current, well, like Rob said, it's up to the people who do the websites, what they're going to use. I don't think we should have a say in that unless it's the PAC, then we should have a say in it. But I mean, I just want recognition for the artists. That's all I want. All right, moving forward.
Joanne, would you just send me a screenshot of the photos you're referring to? Because I did have a look on the website and wasn't able to, I'm not sure I'm locating what you're referring to. So I just want to make sure I'm looking into the right information.
Okay.
So at some point, even if you want to just take it on your phone and zip it through, that way I can make sure I can get back to you.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The next item on the agenda is the Beechman Firehouse. I'm just going to update it, and I'm going to have Elle update it too. But Elle, why don't you start, and I'll tell you what's moving forward. So you want to start on that for the information about the firehouse?
Yes. So DPW has agreed to do the clean out. So we're just waiting for that to happen. I think DPW has been in touch with Captain Fortuna, and he has already notified them of the items that need to be kept and items that can be disposed of. And I believe last week they were moving out some of the materials that needed to find another location. So I think that was taken care of at the end of last week. So it's clear that DPW can move forward now with the clean out.
So my update with Captain Fortuna is that if we want as a group, they have removed, there was floodlights in there and a couple of other small machinery, and they've removed that. So it's clear now. I talked to Captain Fortuna a couple of days ago, and he said that if we want as a, as the commission, if we want to go in there and view the firehouse, we can. All I have to do is call him. So he didn't want us in there because there was some animals in there and some people, and there were droppings on the floor, and he felt it was unsafe and unhealthy. But I think that's cleaned up now, And
that
so-
hasn't been cleaned up yet. So
Oh.
what had to happen first was Captain Fortuna needed to remove the materials that we needed to save. So I think in the coming weeks, it should be cleaned out, and then we'll be able to access the facility.
Okay, he did offer a couple of days ago to, if we wanted a tour, we could go
Okay.
in there as a group and tour it.
Great,
And all I have to do is call him and set up a
Great.
date. So,
great.
you know, I mean, we can wait until the next, you know, meeting and see if it's been cleaned up. And then,
I can keep everyone posted as soon as it's done. I'll check in with DPW tomorrow.
okay, and then, you know, I don't know what, the schedule for all you guys, but, you know, we should come, you should go and see it. It's a beautiful place. It really is a beautiful place. And we were talking about, you know, lofts upstairs. He thought it was a great idea. The other thing is we have to come up with the money to renovate it. He thinks it's going to be more than 100,000 because they got to update the water, the bathrooms, the electricity, everything. And we don't know if it's lead paint in there. So if it is, they have to get someone to remove it. I have a couple of ideas for renovating it, getting the money, but I am going to talk to Mayor Arrigo first and see what he has to say. I do have a meeting with him next week, so that's one of the topics. So I'll let you know at the next meeting what happened. You want to conclude?
Great, thank you for advocating for it.
Oh, no, it's my baby. That's how I feel.
Very
So,
exciting.
you know.
No
I don't
doubt
want-
about that.
Huh?
I said, no doubt about that. You want that done.
I do want it done. Yes, and I do have access to $100,000. I don't know if I want to use it for that or not. If I can get other monies for this, because it is city property, then I'd rather do that. So first, if push comes to shove, then we'll see down the line what will happen. But I really want that to come to fruition, and utilize that firehouse because it's been sitting there for 15 years doing nothing. Okay, so moving on. Our next meetings are February 15th. That's February 15th, March 15th, and April 19th. And it's always the third, and I'll repeat this again, it's always the third Tuesdays of the month, so we can be on public television. We have that spot. So those are our next meetings if you want to write them down. And now I'm going to open it up to attendees and talk anything you want to say. I just want to conclude with what I want to say is Charles Jafrida, Kirsten Green's husband, is now in charge. He has a new role. He's in charge of the city's travel and tourism. He'll be doing a website where he'll be asking for the committee to submit photographs of Revere, and he'll put that on the website to attract people to come to Revere. So I just wanted that information to go to you. And the resolution, if you're going to submit, I don't know if he has a website or not. Kristen, are you still on?
The website is north of Boston.
Okay.
And he has, there's space to promote local murals. I sent him a quick note actually while we're in this meeting, just to ask if we could post perhaps the call to artists on that page. I'm not sure if it's allowed because it might be considered an advertisement, but they can highlight various artists that have completed murals in the city.
Excellent.
So we'll have access to that going forward because Revere is now a member. So thank you, Charlie.
Isn't that great?
Very good.
How positive is
It's
that?
very exciting. It's very exciting.
Thank you, Elle.
So,
You worked hard to get it there. It took a while, but it's great.
It's all
Excellent.
Charlie, that one.
yeah, Charlie and Julie
Absolutely.
tomorrow, right? Is it Julie tomorrow, Elle? Is she involved in that?
Yes, she's also involved with the travel and tourism.
Yes.
I hear she has great nieces.
What?
Yep, I heard that too. Absolutely right there, Rob.
Great nieces?
Yeah.
Fantastic nieces, I should say.
Ultra cool that old people like us don't even understand how cool she is.
I'm so lost.
I know it.
All right, let's move on. All right, anybody else have anything to say?
Good meeting.
Brian, do you need me to send you any pictures of the logo, or do you have like access to all of them so you could like start posting stuff on the Instagram account?
Thank you kindly.
Okay, I'll resend all of them to you. Just the red and blue one, right, with the white background.
Yeah, that's the one
Red,
we
white, and blue.
printed. I want to say, I hate to say this to you, Naomi. I know you have probably about 5 more months on the committee, but on the commission, but we have to look for a replacement for you. So Elle, probably one of those new members will have to be a high school member.
In addition, right.
So I'm going to talk to your teachers. Can you send me, because I don't know, I know 2 of the teachers up there, Miss Gibson and Miss Allen, but I don't know your other, is it Miss Waters? Is one of them?
Yeah, Miss Waters, and then Mr. Hester, Andre Hester. He's the illustration teacher at my school.
Hester, okay. All right.
Can we wrap that, Joanne, all into the thing that, Casey will do at the Journal, where we do the thing about her and saying that she now.
Oh, that's a good idea. Sure. That's a great idea, Brian.
All pushed out at once, and we advertise to a bunch of people. We're looking to, and I know it's going to be real hard to do, replace Naomi.
It is going to be very hard to replace. I mean, Naomi, if you want to stay on, you can. I have no problems with that, but.
You guys are so nice to me. Say such nice things about me every time I'm on here. Thank you. Yeah.
Is there anybody else that wants to say anything? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And we'll conclude until February 15th.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Bye.